Hi, everyone. Today I'm here with Erica Acie. Erica is one of the contributing authors in Mortgage Manager Mastery. Mortgage Manager Mastery is a book for sales leaders new and experienced in the financial sector. Erica wrote a terrific chapter titled Bridging the Divide, Communication Strategies for Sales Leaders and Sales Teams. Erica is the head of originations at Truist, previously with SunTrust and Citi and other lenders. Erica, thanks for joining me today. I loved your chapter. I thought it was really sorely needed for sure, discussing the real world of communication. So talk about the one big idea that you want to share with the listeners and also with the managers reading the book.
I would love to, Pat. But before I get started, let me just commend you again on doing something that is so spectacular and so needed right now, because I know
Mhm.
it's not an easy feat by any
Yeah.
stretch of the imagination. So just thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. I greatly appreciate it, and I love what you're doing. So with that being said, I would say I'm going to call it a concept instead of a big idea, but it really
Mhm.
is about the power of transparency and influencing through genuine care. And the reason why I want to start with that and state it in that way is because there's such a negative connotation with
Mhm.
leaders and managers holding teammates accountable, right? Because they feel like they're going to hurt someone's feelings, or that person may be offended and leave the organization. But hopefully, when you convey your message, that teammate feels and understands that you're
Mhm.
stating what you're stating out of deep care for them. And you want to see them win. So if you need to align them back to disciplines to help them get to that next level, that conversation has to be had. I mean, that's what's going to drive greater performance, right? And you have to be courageous in that conversation. But if the person knows that it's coming from a place of care, that message will go over much better. They may not like it in that very moment, but they're going to take a step back and say, I know you only shared that with me for me to win and be more successful. And it does deepen the trust. And then if you think about it from another lens around a loan officer maybe getting upset that they want something to happen. Let's say they want this new initiative to get pushed through
Right.
and it's not going to be pursued. What a lot of managers do, instead of feeling empowered and taking ownership, is say, well, they are not going to support it. Well, they said no. Take a different approach. Take the ownership and help that loan officer understand how it does or does not align to the strategic vision. Help them understand the prioritization. There's only so many resources that can go
Mhm.
around, right? And at the end of the day, if you can be more transparent and influence through care in your conversations, you're going to build that trust. And that's going to allow that teammate to focus on more productive work, more transformational productive work, than getting upset and getting emotional, which is only going to deter their production, right? So, really being mindful of what are you trying to gain in this conversation? Is it just to appease an individual for a moment in time, or is it to build trust and collaborative conversation about the future? And the choice is ours. And I would much prefer leaders to take that away. Be courageous, be transparent, and influence through care.
Wow, that was so powerful. I'm so glad you shared it. And it's so true. I see it all the time. So let's talk about the action step that managers could implement to accomplish what you're talking about.
So taking ownership, I know, is not easy to do, but it is our responsibility and it is what we're accountable for. It is why we sit in our roles, is it not? That's why we're here. And one of the fundamental aspects of that is really bridging the gap from a communication perspective. And so, whether it's between a loan officer and an operations team, whether it's between the sales team and executive leadership, regardless of what it is, if you can really isolate the true problem statement, what are we really trying to solve, and engage in effective communication? And one of the things that my team knows that I say quite often, some people like it, some people don't, but it really is facts over feelings. And that's not to say that we don't have feelings, we do. But in business, we're trying to solve challenges and quickly minimize the downtime. You have to be focused on the facts. Have you ever been in a situation, Pat, where you're talking about an issue, And people will be on the phone for an hour or 2 hours even. And people are looking around going, well, what were we even trying to solve for? Because everyone's pontificating, they're talking about how they feel about a situation. Bring it in. Understand as leaders, a part of our job, a big part of our job is to make sure that we are all aligned and on the same page, creating opportunity and keeping clients in the center of the room and not making it about us. Because the moment that we make it about us, we lose perspective. And I have done a lot of studying around conflict resolution, how much is lost in our industry. And based on industry reports, we lose anywhere between 20 to 30% in productivity simply due to ineffective collaboration, which starts with communication. That blows my mind. So if you can really zone in and understand how to effectively communicate and solve the problem that we're really trying to solve and not get distracted with all the other things, man, we're going to get right back on that horse and we're going to go sailing and we can, solve the next thing and the next thing and not get hung up and lose all that productivity.
Yeah, great points, all of them. They're really powerful, I have to say. And so let's take the lens to look future. What do you see that managers, like the opportunities for the managers in the next few years?
Yeah, so that is a great question. And I'm always just surprised about the age gap in our industry, right? And I'm aging myself in saying that. But we need younger, fresher talent always. But I'm excited about the fact that our industry realizes that, and we're continuing to think about ways to pull in younger talent, even though we know technology is moving at a faster clip. And just because technology is moving fast doesn't mean that we should not bring younger talent into the industry. In fact, I think it's super critical because we all have to learn what each other needs and how to communicate more effectively. So we're taking a much harder look. I'm taking a much harder look at talent planning, the skills and competencies needed for leaders to be effective, and really thinking, how do we future-proof our industry from a leader standpoint? So when I talk about the average age of leaders in this industry, Pat, you would know better than me, but I'm going to say it's probably anywhere between 48 and 52, somewhere in there.
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm on point.
Yeah.
We know that our generation has been introduced to technology in a different way. We know that a lot of people will say, well, I'm just going to continue to do it how I've always done it. I've always been successful this way, not thinking about how much more successful they could be if they just leaned in. And so making sure that leaders of tomorrow really understand how to help their teams lead through change, how to adopt new technology, leading by example. I love technology. I love change. I love it. And so that helps me better educate my leaders and help them through that change continuum. And when you've done it and you understand it, you know how to communicate about it. You know how to say, well, this is what's in it for you. Do it like this. I know you've been accustomed to doing it this way, but if you can increase your business 2x, 3x, who would say no to that? But you got to show them how that's done. And so the last point I'll say is that I've seen a greater level of collaboration across our industry. Look at you as an example, Pat, in this book. And, really looking at our vendors, the forums that they put together. I am a part of different groups, and a lot of it is co-ed, right? Doesn't matter the gender. And we're talking about what do we need to do next, right? What are you seeing? How can we improve this? How can we improve that? And what that does at the end of the day, it helps us feel more empowered and it helps us win together because ultimately we're all accountable for this industry, all of us. And so I see it happening and that really makes me so excited. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about the change. Like, bring it on. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one myself. So talk about any other takeaways that you would like to share with the managers or the listeners today.
Yes, I would love to just invite leaders to think about all the forums that they have throughout the year. Plan now. Plan now for the next year. What forums can you create that have open dialogue about what people are afraid of, because when we're afraid, it hinders our execution, right? Talk about technology to a deeper level, not just way up here, not just, talk it through chat GPT or agentic AI, like using the terms, but help people really understand what it means to companies. Because you can employ a whole lot of different types of AI and lose in this industry if people really don't understand what it's designed for, how are we utilizing it, what is the outcome that's expected, and how can it work for you. If we don't do those things, we'll lose. And so having those forums in place and listening to people will help shape your strategy around how to help people through the change continuum, how to empower them, and how to ensure people are taking ownership. That's my personal perspective.
Well, I agree with you 100%, as you know already. So I want to thank you for sharing your insights today. And also for everyone watching today, if you'd like to do a deeper dive with Erica and her chapter and what she's talking about, go to the mortgagemanagermastery.com or Amazon to purchase the book. Thanks so much, Erica.